Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the background thumbnail, we are talking about Travis Barker's new documentary, Louder Than Fear. Again, one of those that also came out in this busy fucking weekend that I decided, hey, perfect time to set up your fucking background. So yeah, guys, this is one of those documentaries that, I wouldn't say I was excited to watch it just because, as you can see, I love Blink-182. I've covered Blink-182 a lot on this channel. I love that band. But Travis Barker's always been one of those guys in the band that I've never really connected to yet. I love Mark's story. I've read his Fahrenheit 182 book. I love Tom. I've read his story. I've watched a lot of different documentaries about him and To the Stars and stuff. But Travis has always been one of those people in the band that I've never gravitated towards. He's never been on my wavelength of I associate with Travis. I connect to Travis. He's always just been a really good drummer, and I knew that he had some connections between artists and stuff, and of course the tragic plane accident that happened. But he's never been one of those that I'm like, yes, I love Travis, Tom, and Mark. But he's always been one of those I'm like, I've never had anything wrong with him, never had any issues, just never really knew the guy, And so when this documentary came out, I was like, I'm gonna check it out because obviously I'm a Blink fan. I want to cover it. But I did not expect walking away from this documentary to be as moved and to be as connected as I am with him, like I am now with Mark and Tom. This documentary in a way kind of blew me away because again, I knew of him. I knew of Travis. I knew he was really into the scene. I knew he was connecting to all different artists. I knew that he had a tragic plane accident, but this documentary really opened my eyes to oh wow, Travis is as interesting as the rest of the people in Blink-182, and so I really enjoyed this documentary. I think this is one of those documentaries that if you're a hardcore Blink fan like I am, you will actually get something out of it. Even if you already know Travis's story, I think you'll get something out of it because Mark and Tom are in it. They give their opinions, and this documentary took them 9 years to make. And it's so weird to see the 9-year difference between Travis then and Travis now, Tom then, Mark then. Because when they start the documentary off, it's Tom and Mark from 2017, and you can clearly tell this is before they got back together in 2021. I think it was 22. And so it's just one of those different perspective things. But yeah, it talks a lot about his plane accident, how much that really scarred him for life and really gave him anxiety. And I can relate to that. As someone who's dealt with a lot of trauma, I have anxiety as well myself, more social anxiety than just regular anxiety, but I have really bad social anxiety. And so it's one of those, I related to that. I related to that aspect of being scared to do shit, especially when you have something so traumatic happen. And it was kind of, not gonna lie, it was a little disturbing and kind of haunting to hear the audio from what happened to the plane crash.
I've got two on the ground with birds over here.
Again, I heard of it, and I just recently became a Blink fan a couple years ago. So I wasn't a Blink fan back when this happened. When Travis, I was maybe 7 years old, 6 years old. So I wasn't there when that happened. So it's so disturbing and haunting to hear those files and those audios from that incident. And yeah, because again, I knew of it, but I'm finding out the gritty details and seeing it and hearing it like everyone else did back in 2007, 2008. So it was just kind of disturbing, and it kind of made me go, damn, yeah, that is traumatic as fuck. And so I remember after the documentary ended, I listened to one more time again because I'm like, all right, now that I know where everybody's come from, I know Tom's story of his divorce with his with his growing up in California. I know Mark's story, with his cancer and all these other things. I know about the band breakup. Now I know Travis's story of the plane crash and all that stuff. Let me listen to one more time again. Even though I already love that song, let me listen to that again because that song is very much, in a way, all three of them coming together and not celebrating their traumatic events, but just mainly hey, one more time, we're going to keep going because of all of our traumatic events. And it was so I found a new euphoric love for that song. Even though I already love that song as it is, it was one of those, now knowing the full picture, I can go back and listen to one more time and go, wow, that song has so many fucking layers to it. I don't know if anybody else who hasn't listened to Mark, Tom, and Travis's story would learn to appreciate, because that song is riddled with that. I can't wait to talk about that on the ranking I do, which I'll plug that in real quick. I've been doing so far every single Blink-182 song, album by album. We're about to be on self-titled here soon. I'm excited to get into. So I can't wait to get to One More Time, the album, and talk about that song, because that song is just going to have a newfound love now because of watching this documentary. But And again, there was a lot of things in here I didn't know because again, I said before, I didn't know much about Travis. There was a lot of things in here that I found out about Travis that I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like he was in a band before Blink-182 and how they met was at a show because they needed a drummer and everything. I thought that was actually a pretty cool, interesting story. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. I also thought it was interesting how he met Chloe. I think it was Chloe. Is Chloe the one out of the Kardashians? I don't really know. I'm not very familiar with the Kardashians, but how he met his wife, I thought was really sweet. I didn't know that story. I always just chalked it up to, yeah, it makes sense. He's a good looking guy. He's amazing. Of course he's going to date a Kardashian. I mean, look at Kanye West. He dated Kim Kardashian for the longest time. But I didn't know that they were like childhood best friends and that they'd known each other forever. And this was like a destined thing, whatever. I didn't know that. I thought that was actually kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, there were just a lot of things in this documentary that I found a new appreciation for Travis. I found a new kind of like, okay, I didn't know much of you, but now that I know your story, I love you just the same as Mark and Tom. Even though I loved you before, because again, you're an amazing fucking drummer, and I've heard you on other things. It was one of those I found a new appreciation for that guy. So yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely one of those. If you're a hardcore Blink fan, you definitely got to watch it. And if you're not, it's just a really good documentary. I don't watch many documentaries. I'm not that much of a documentarian of a person. I'll watch documentaries if they're important on the subject, but I don't normally watch documentaries. But this is one of those I'm like, I actually really enjoyed this. As someone who's a big Blink fan, I got a lot out of it. I thought it was really cool to learn Travis's story. And my thing is too, I want to know, where's Tom's documentary? We have Fahrenheit 182, that book, which is basically like a documentary. It's more of a memoir, but it gives you a lot of insight into Plus 44, how he was feeling during Boxcar and everything. And then you have this, which I know Travis wrote a book a couple years ago. I haven't read it, but this has made me go, where's Tom's book? Where's Tom's documentary? Tom is just such an interesting guy. I want to know his story through and through. Even though I already know his story, I want to watch it again and actually like maybe learn some more tidbits and shit. So yeah, guys, as a big Blink-182 fan, I'm satisfied with the documentary. I think this is a really good documentary and guys should check it out if you haven't. It's on Hulu, it's on Disney Plus. If you have either one of those, you can watch it. It's only an hour and 40. It's not that long, but I think there's a lot of insight in here. And I think if you're a big Blink-182 fan, you're going to learn a lot more about Travis's story on things. So yeah, guys, you guys from the comments, what do you think about this? Did you like this documentary? Were you kind of meh on this documentary? Let me know how you guys feel in the comments. And remember, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.